Hi, I'm Matt Hartley, Senior Editor at North Strategic. I'm here today with Daniel Langerhack. He is the Director of Connections Planning at the Hive, which is where we are here in Toronto. Tell me what a Director of Connections Planning does.
So connections planning is really a relatively new discipline in the world of communications and marketing. I like to think of it as a complement to sort of traditional brand planning. So we've seen a lot of that type of brand planning where it's trying to find that nugget of that consumer insight that's going to lead you to a big idea. I think connections planning is more about understanding the consumer piece and understanding how they behave and trying to reach them at different points along their journey with the product. So talking about everything from the awareness stage all the way through purchasing the product and experiencing it and sharing it with their friends. We like to make sure the right message is delivered at the right point along that journey. Well, I think when you look back at the idea of ensuring that content is always rewarding somebody for the time that they're spending, I think you want to make sure that you're understanding where they're consuming that content and giving them a reward that's contextually relevant to wherever they're consuming it. So if somebody's watching your video on a mobile device, make sure it's short and punchy and kind of gets right to the point.
Now we talk about good ideas. Now you guys, one of your clients is Maynard's, and you were telling me a little bit about a campaign you worked on with the Chumalier. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that and what made that so effective?
2 or 3 years ago, we worked with Maynard's on creating a video around this idea of a sommelier for wine gums, which is one of their biggest SKUs. We called him the Chumalier, and we set him up at a wine show, and he would stop consumers and sort of tell them about all the merits of wine gums in the way that sort of snobby wine lovers would appreciate. It turned into a really funny content piece, and people were hamming it up. It was really great, and the video performed really well. It was a really great jumping off point for them into buying into this idea of content as being a pillar of their communication strategy. I think the one really important thing to remember with any great content strategy is that a brand should behave like a person, and much like any person, you are what you do, not what you say. And I think brands need to keep that in mind when developing their content, because that comes back to the whole idea of being authentic and credible and relevant, and that's what's going to kind of provide the solid foundation for a great content strategy.